What happened there? Well, sorry about that. Kufar, Akbar, everybody, welcome to another edition of the Crossing the Crescent discussion group. I'm out of alignment here for some reason. Hold on. Boy, down we go. All right. This is a YouTube live stream show dedicated to rightly dividing the truth between Christianity and Islam. We are here every Monday evening at 5 o'clock. Today we're late, and there was a reason for that, and I'll talk to you about that here in a second, and how we're going to be late in the future. And we are at Central Standard Time. That would be 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And I am your host, Eric Sekifer, coming to you live from the cavernous steps of the Kafir Cave in Dar al-Har, Kafiristan. I have got to get this back over here. Okay, sorry for the late start today, guys. Today, the Queen said we got to go get a printer because our printer, it just died. It was an old printer. It's one of those Epson Echo Tank. I think they're called Echo Tanks. Anyway, they're really good printers. But anyway, we had to go across town to get one, and coming back across town, of course, you got the 5 o'clock traffic and everything's backed up here. And it's just never, I hate going into town. I really do. I just absolutely despise it these days. Okay. Start time in the future. And the start time in the future is going to be 1730 hours, 5:30 your time. And the reason for that is starting not next week, but the week after, I will be doing a church thing at a local school, and we don't get out of there until 5 o'clock. So that will give me, enough time, 30 minutes to get home and get everything fired up, send out all the invites and everybody here. But that is going to start, we're just going to start it next week. But the actual club thing that we're doing at the school doesn't start until, I believe it's the 28th. That's a Monday. Is that a Monday? The 28th? I believe it is. Brad, it sounds like your mic hot.
Eric?
Yes.
So just getting back to the printer thing, 28th is a Monday, but it's 2 weeks from now. 21st is next week, Monday.
Right. Yeah. And that's when it starts, 28th. Yep.
All right. But just real quick, you mentioned your eco thing, your printer.
Yeah. That one?
Right? Yeah, okay. So I used to have those kind of inkjet printers, and I noticed that they crapped out if you didn't use them all the time. And also the replacement ink was extremely expensive. So I actually got a colored laser jet printer, wireless, for like $400, I think. And I've had it for like 5 years, and I've had no problems with it. And it's an all-in-one scanner, multi-function scanner, which I haven't figured out yet.
How much did we pay for this one? What was this one? $300.
Yeah, you get the laser. See, but no, the problem. If you're not using that printer,
the bottles. You just fill it with the bottles. It doesn't cost the bottles. A whole set of bottles last year, 6 months, and it's $20 for the bottle. Echo Tank. They're great.
Really? Okay. I'm on my first cartridge with the laser jet color. And
you don't print anything. We print everything. We print catalogs every day.
Oh, do you? Oh, okay.
Not every day, but we do a lot of print.
It's so good. It's so good. I can print counterfeit money with it, and it passes at the bank. I'm just saying.
Good. Well, we'll give that a try. We'll give it a try. We won't give it. And this is recorded too. We're not going to give that a try. Okay, so today, many of you have noticed that your mailbox is empty today, and the reason why is it's a federal holiday. It is Columbus Day. It's not Indigenous persons of whatever persuasion day. It is Columbus Day. And the only reason why there's an attempt today to try to name it to, was it Native American Indigenous persons? What are they trying to name it to? Does anybody know in chat there?
Indigenous persons, or Indigenous Peoples Day. But in reality, what that would mean is it's Indigenous Peoples Day. So we're basically talking. Well, hold on, that's not right. Yeah, okay. So what we're talking about here is let me get the actual title here. What we're going with here.
I got it right here. I got, as a matter of fact,
Hold on.
a presidential candidate that I'm sure you're all aware of. Hold on, let me see if I can get her up here. Okay, shut up. Okay, what I did was I got, okay, since we're moving everything around here, my screens that I have are being moved too. And I can't, can we do this? You can do it. We just did it. Okay. So we have a presidential candidate that has said, come on. Okay, I can't do it that way. Presidential here it is. Okay, here it is. Let's no, it's not. Shut up. Okay, here we go. It is, let's do this. Okay, I'm gonna play this clip here. I would have been more prepared if I hadn't been late, but I was late. I admit it. No problem. Present, screen share, Trump War Room. Here we go. All right. Can you guys see this? Tell me if you can hear it as soon as I start playing it.
This week, as we celebrate Indigenous.
Can you hear that? Paul gives me a thumbs up. Right.
Can you make it louder?
Yes, I'm going to make it louder. Let's do that. Look at here. All right. Bada bing. All right. Let's listen to what our future president, our current vice president, let me rephrase that. Our current vice
president. Don't you say such a thing.
I know, just chill out. Chill. It's all right. We're all going to be okay. Here we go.
Possible.
It is an honor, of course, to be with you this week as we celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day.
Okay, so I'm assuming she got it right. The Indigenous Peoples Day. It isn't Native American. I think it's Indigenous people. So
okay.
First, I want to know.
Let me translate. Hold on. Let me translate. Okay. This is what this is. Oh, I just had it. I just had it. Okay. So, Indigenous Peoples Day is Stone Age savage, slave-owning, human-sacrificing cannibals who were so primitive they didn't even have the wheel. They couldn't figure out how to domesticate the bison, and they ate the horses into extinction. Oh, they also gave the world syphilis. That's who you want us to recognize over Christopher Columbus? I think not. Yeah. Just saying. Fact check, 100% true.
Indigenous Peoples Day. It's Indigenous Peoples Day. Okay, let's just go. Okay, here we go. Okay.
As we speak truth about our nation's history.
I don't think she knows the first thing about the truth of our nation's history, because people like this, the only thing that they want to do is they just want to focus on slavery. We had slavery. We're evil. Forget the fact
we're
that
the only country that had slavery. We're the only country in the history
on the planet has had slavery in its history. Just forget that fact. It's just the United States. And here's why. Let me just make sure I get this out here before I forget. Here's why she's doing it, and here's why people of her ilk and persuasion do this. Is because it's an attempt to cede some sort of authority and power to them and take away the power or authority of people who you can associate with the colonization of the Americas. That's the whole purpose of it. It's to cede authority and power to themselves. This is what she's trying to do. And this is why she's saying, let's make sure we teach our American history. I taught American history for 15, 16 years. I know what our history is. And what she's got to say ain't it. Let's continue.
Since 1934, every October, the United States has recognized the voyage of the European explorers who first landed on the shores of the Americas.
The what, man?
What?
Wait.
Wait. What planet is she on?
I don't know. I don't know. He never landed on the shore of any. Now, he landed on the shores of a few islands, but he never set foot on North America, Central America, or South America. A lot of people don't realize this. Columbus never set foot on the American continent, whether it's North.
That's why I was asking what planet she's on. I mean, if she's in an alternate reality, she might be close.
Well, this isn't horseshoe.
And she totally just discriminated against the Mormons. Okay, because everybody knows that they came over, the lost Jewish tribe came over and were the first. Okay, Total discrimination.
I-
I'm just saying.
It's not discrimination. It's blatant stupidity, willful stupidity.
No, well, question. Did he land in Cuba or was it Jamaica? Or we don't know exactly what islands he hit.
Wait. Eric, I actually know what's going on here. The 6-year-old speechwriter is back.
Yes,
An alarm was going off. Oh, I'm sorry.
that was me. No, that was me. It's time to pull up my pork roast.
Oh, well, okay.
But what? Well, I still got some time. But what do we know what island he landed on? Was it-
Hispaniola, Haiti and the Dominican Republic. They
it was
call it.
Haiti, Dominican Republic. I always thought it was Cuba, but that's interesting. Okay.
Well, no, he did. No. He sailed to several different islands because.
Right.
Okay, a couple things about Christopher Columbus. Number one, he didn't make just one voyage across the Atlantic. He made 4.
Right.
And his second voyage, after he landed, the first one, I think they came across with 3 ships. Am I correct on this? You can correct me if I'm wrong.
Only one made it back.
And the Santa Maria or whatever that is. And then he went back to Spain and said, hey, yo, guess what I found? I found that all water route to Asia, the earth is round, and we sailed around the earth, and we made it to Asia. We no longer have to go around the Cape of, was it Cape Horn or Cape of Good Hope? Or Cape of Good Hope. Cape of Good Hope, sail all around the southern part of Africa and go up there. I found an all-water route to Asia. We can start trading with the eastern countries again. Why did they have to stop trading? Because in 1453, Constantinople was sacked by the Ottomans, and they gained control. And no longer did you have that land bridge going between Europe and Asia. You had to go around. Pinta Nina, thank you, Doug.
See that? It was the Muslims' fault. It's the Muslims' fault that the
You know
white
what?
man came to America and
taught
oppressed the native people.
Class. I actually taught that in my class. I said, look, Constantinople got sacked, and you notice it's not Constantinople anymore. It's called what? Istanbul. That's an Islamic name. Guess who conquered it? And guess who kept the Europeans from trading with Asia? But going back to what I was saying about Columbus, when he got back to Spain, the king and queen were like, oh my goodness, really? Did you? Okay, well, here, have a whole entire naval fleet and go back over there. Well, he set sail back over to the Americas, and this is when things just started to go south with Columbus. He goes back, he doesn't find any gold, doesn't find any riches, and it costs the king and the queen, $1 bazillion. They go into they got $1 trillion deficit now, and they got to deal with all this stuff. And then he comes back over twice. And I think the last time, the people in Hispaniola actually put him in prison or put him in jail for something. But the bottom line is that things did not end well for Columbus by the time that he died. However, to denigrate what he did, and this is what this woman is trying to do here, is denigrate the accomplishment of what happened here. Let's continue to listen to what she's got to say.
But that is not the whole story.
Of course it's not. Come on. That's I don't know if I should say it. I'm going to say it. No, I'm not going to say it. Never mind. I don't. It's just I mean.
Yeah, let's let her reveal how lacking in intelligence she is even more.
I'm thinking, my greatest fear in 2016 was having to know that I was going to have to listen to Hillary Clinton every single day on the news.
Oh, wow.
I was just going to have to listen to that condescending stuff. And it's the same thing. It's the same thing with this woman. Let me teach you about, she doesn't know it. There was a Muslim reporter that was on, I can't remember. I think Megyn Kelly. Do you guys know who Megyn Kelly is? She has a podcast. Okay, and now I got
Megyn.
Yeah, I can.
Sailor Megyn now.
Okay, I have all time during the day now to listen to my podcast. Megyn Kelly. I listened to her, and she had this Muslim reporter, Makit, something like that. I can't remember the lady's name. And she had known Kamala when Kamala was coming up through the ranks. And she said that Kamala, in her district attorney's office, where she tried gangs and stuff, she did 7 cases. 7 cases, all she tried in her time as a district attorney. All of this bravado that this woman has is BS. It really is. And when she starts talking to you about historical events, just shut down, because you know what's coming out of her mouth is either a lie or a complete distortion of the truth. To do what? To empower her. All right, let's listen to what she's got to say. Now, this is what happened, don't you see?
That has never been the whole story. Those explorers ushered in a wave of devastation for tribal nations.
Okay, let's write this down. Devastation. Let me write this down. For tribal nations. Okay. Sure, you got that. What else did they do? There's like 4 things she names here.
Perpetrating violence.
Violence. Okay. Violence. VIOLENCE. Is that right? Violence. Hold on.
Stealing land.
Stealing land. Stealing land. They stole land. That's never happened before in any nation's history. What else we got going here?
And spreading disease.
And diseases. Spreading diseases. Was it monkeypox, AIDS? What are they diseases? Are they spreading diseases? Okay, so the explorers, they devastated tribal nations. They committed violence against them. They stole their land, and they spreaded diseases.
Yeah, syphilis came from Native Americans. It was a scourge of Europe after Columbus discovered America. Now, you can't fault the sailors because, they were not used to this sort of thing. But no, it did. It is documented fact. Syphilis came from Native Americans.
Well, why don't they just give them penicillin shots?
Because the white man hadn't invented it yet. The evil white man. See?
We must not shy away from this shameful past.
Shameful past. Okay, shameful past. Columbus Day, celebrating the devastation of tribal nations, violence, stealing land, and spreading disease. It is a shameful past, and we must not shy away from it. Now, why can't we shy away from it? Because if we did shy away from it and did teach other versions of history, then, of course, she would not have any authority or power over of all these evil things that have been perpetrated on the Native American, Indigenous Persons Day. Oh my gosh, here we go.
And we must shed light on it.
Shed light on it. Like no history teacher in their classrooms, we don't talk about, we do not talk about the diseases that were spread. The devastation of the cultures, complete loss of Native American and Indian cultures. We don't talk about none of that. No. Yeah, right. We did that during the Revolutionary War. That's not funny.
Actually,
the French and Indian War.
Yeah.
The French and Indian War. We did that.
I think Darcy is talking about. This is the Dakotas. No, so that was under Democrat presidential leadership.
No. This was either during the French and Indian War or the Revolutionary War. I'm pretty sure of that. Maybe you're right. I think no. Maybe you are. Maybe it's the War of 1812 because
Jackson.
Right. They decided that you had the Confederation of what do they call that tribal confederation? The Tribal Confederation of North American tribes, Indian tribes, fighting against the. What are we doing?
I think she's stolen all of these words from someone named Lorenzo Veracini.
I've heard that name be passed around. But
either way, because word for word, she's taking some of these passages straight from his book.
Right. So there's a couple things. I want to get back to this smallpox thing. Okay. So there's a couple instances of where the smallpox thing happened. There's the accidental smallpox where were spread. Okay. Where what happened was they were, what do you call it? Settlers. They were traveling across. Okay, the plains and the mountains and everything, and they would contract smallpox and they would throw out the blankets, okay, because they didn't want to carry around the smallpox-ridden blankets with them after the bodies had died, okay. So Native Americans would say, hey, free blanket, that's cool for me, I'm taking it. You know what I mean? So there were accidental infections in that case, but there was a case where under Andrew Jackson, the under Democrat, I do like Andrew Jackson, but he was a Democrat after all. But under Democrat authority, okay, they actually did launch a bioweapons attack with smallpox laced blankets. Okay, fine. That's wrong. Okay, I do not disagree with it, but it doesn't change the fact that when Columbus landed on Hispaniola, on Haiti, whatever, and all over the place, okay, the Native Americans that he encountered, the indigenous people, okay, all right, who he did no harm to, okay, he actually said they were cordial, they were polite, okay, they would make great servants to the crown, and he was converting them to Catholicism, okay, he was a deep man of faith. Okay, all right. Didn't change about they were not mistreated by Columbus, and later encounters with these indigenous people proved out to be very disastrous. For why? Because they were cannibals, including the Iroquois here in Illinois. Okay, there's the story of what's Tecumseh. Look that up. Tecumseh and his prophet, the Dubai or something.
Right. Tecumseh was actually the leader of the Confederation during the French and Indian War.
Right, and he had a prophet. He followed
Henry Harrison at Tippecanoe defeated Tecumseh at Tippecanoe and ended up killing him, and that eventually that led to the entire Confederation just folding like a chair. And it also led to the end of the war, where the Native American resistance to settlers after that was just completely.
My point being with this is that they were literally cannibals. They did not practice, what do you call it, ritual cannibalism. They actually hunted human beings for food.
Let's take that. Did I lose Can you guys hear me? Or did we lose Rad? Yeah, I think Rad
I think Rad is talking to someone.
Yeah, he had something to do. Okay, so let's get back to Kamala first. All right, so she says that you had devastation of tribal nations, you had violence perpetrated against them, we stole their land, and notice the United States, even though we weren't a country when all this went on, it doesn't matter. And then spreading the diseases. Is that all she had to say? No. Hold on.
And do everything we can to address the impact of the past on Native communities today.
Okay, so
it is an honor.
Okay, so what exactly is she talking about doing to right that wrong committed against Native Americans by European settlers? Is she talking about returning the lands that were taken from them, stolen from them, forced them off of, and giving them back? I mean, if we're doing that, we might as well give back the entire Southwest to Mexico because we got it during the Mexican War. That includes Texas, Arizona. What else is it? New Mexico, California, Colorado, Nevada, part of Utah. All that goes back to Mexico. The entire Southeast. That goes back to what do they call them? The 5 noble tribes: the Choctaw, Chickasaw, Cherokee, Creek, and Seminole Indians. Give all that land at Florida. At least the Seminoles would be the only ones dealing. They would have to have their own FEMA, of course, because they get hit by hurricanes all the time. But that's just minor. And also all of the lands up around the Great Lakes area, that goes back to all those tribes. The Iroquois, all those tribes back. No, that's not what she was talking about. The only thing that she wants to do is try to denigrate our country. And by doing this, by saying that we stole their land, folks, the world 100 years ago was completely different than what the world is today. Going to war for the purpose of taking land was what every country did. It was normal.
It was what the natives did. They did it to each other. They'd fight over land all the time.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But I'm just trying to give some type of small historical context. Now what we're doing is we go back to 1492 when Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue. Now you're talking 3 more centuries removed from modern values and norms. So what she's trying to do is she's trying to make us feel guilty about the past. So when we start talking about coming into the Americas and perpetrating violence, stealing their lands, folks, this was not utopia before the Europeans arrived. This was a harsh tribal culture. Right. It was a hellhole on Earth. You talk about the competition for food because starvation was real. The tribes would go to war over food sources. They would go to war over land. Hello. Now that they lost it, it's like the Palestinians complaining about, oh, we don't have any land now. Well, you picked the wrong side and got your butts kicked. Sorry about that, but don't complain because nobody's listening to you. Wars have consequences. And they would go to war. One of the most famous Native Americans that I used to teach was Sacagawea. You guys hear of Sacagawea? You know Sacagawea. It's Sacagawea, helps Lewis and Clark. I mean, who
Can I
could
correct you on that?
who?
It's Sacagawea.
What?
Sacagawea, not Sacagawea.
It's Sacagawea? Okay, whatever her name was.
Yeah.
Sacagawea is how I'm going to pronounce it because I'm an old dog and I'm not learning it. Sacagawea, folks. Sacagawea was a Shoshone from the Shoshone Indian tribe. A lot of people don't know this, but Sacagawea, at the time that she encountered Lewis and Clark, going up the Missouri River, up in, South Dakota, North Dakota, where the Mandan tribe is. That she's with the Mandan tribe. Does anybody know why she was with the Mandan Indian tribe, even though she's a Shoshone Indian girl? Does anybody have
captured?
What?
She was
more booty.
Yes, she was taken as a slave. Slavery.
Familiar? Sounds like Islam.
Slavery was rampant in Native. Every tribe practiced it, guys. So when we start talking about, you got slavery in our country, we're so shut your pot. Every culture on this planet, virtually every, not every culture, but virtually every culture on this planet has practiced a form of slavery at some point. And even poor Sacagawea was taken as a slave. And when she was given to, what was that French guy? Charbonneau. She was given to this guy Charbonneau as, I don't know, he won her in some type of game, I think it was. Lost, he won a bet. And that's how he got her to be his wife. And the baby, Jean-Baptiste, that she took along on Lewis and Clark's expedition. A lot of people don't know that. But anyway, this land that was conquered was not just this peaceful land. When we talk about women's rights, do you think that they practice women's rights amongst themselves? Of course not. So, this idea that these evil Europeans came to the Americas and somehow forced their evil values of slavery and violence and devastating these tribes is just absolutely absurd. And this is the type of crap that you get from them. Now, you should mention diseases. Let me just talk about these diseases for a second here, because when we start talking about the conquering of North, Central, and South America by Europeans, it wasn't through violence. It wasn't through force. A lot of people think that that's what, but it wasn't. The reason why Europeans were able to devastate, according to Kamala, and steal their land so easily was because of smallpox. 95%, folks, that is 19 out of every 20 Native Americans died because of diseases. Typhoid, typhus, smallpox, influenza, all of these diseases that the Europeans had immunities to, the Native Americans did not. And so when they encountered these Europeans and they would contract these diseases, they would take them back to their camps, and entire camps, entire tribes would be decimated within a matter of days. Why? Because of diseases. Was it intentional? Rad mentioned something about, and Darcy mentioned something about them giving blanket slaves with smallpox during the French and Indian War. This is true. This is true. They did that.
It was War of 1812.
What did I say?
You said French and Indian.
French and Indian.
Oh, come on. Quit being so technical. But yeah.
But no, here's the thing, though, people. Yes, we gave them smallpox. They gave us syphilis. No, it is that simple. So
It's not that simple.
Yeah. Okay. But no. I would no. Okay. Yes, that is correct. Okay. It was in most cases unintentional, but I would propose. Okay, it was the iron skillet, the frying pan, that defeated the Native Americans. Let me explain why. There is a story tale that I remember reading long ago, many moons ago, as they say, about
Little Native American lingo, ready to go. Many moons
Sitting
ago.
Bull,
Yeah.
after they conquered. Actually, it was after the Battle of Little Bighorn, and he saw the squaws, and the squaws ran to get the iron skillets.
They ran what?
To get the iron skillets, the iron pots, the iron cookingware, because that's what they coveted. And he wept. Because why? Because the only way they got an iron skillet or iron cookingware or a rifle or anything like that is because either they had to trade for it or they had to, get it in war booty. In other words, they did not master the technology to make an iron skillet, to make a rifle, to make the things, the items that they coveted, okay? They just did not do that, okay? Now, you can find instances where there was a Native American who became a blacksmith or whatever, but overall, the tribalism, they did not do this. They did not have forges. They did not have these nomad peoples. They didn't settle down. They did not make forges. They did not, you know what I mean? Okay, this was the main thing. They did not embrace technology, even though they used the technology. And I would say that's something with us, that's why we have to start manufacturing again in the United States of America. Because we are dependent on our enemies to supply us what? Computer chips. You know what I mean? But that is a lesson of history. I think that has impacted me. Does that make sense? I mean, no, seriously. They lost because they did not industrialize. And this is
Well, they didn't have technology. You're absolutely right. When you mention technology and technological advances, that always drives warfare. That always drives warfare.
Right.
And normally, the tactics of warfare do not keep up with the technology. And the biggest example of that is World War I and these cavalry charges across these wide swaths of land, going right into machine guns and artillery. It was just. So I don't know how you're associating.
They didn't.
And little big.
What I'm saying is all their basic needs, their basic comfort needs, their basic needs of advancement. Think about the difference of an iron pot, an iron skillet, okay, over a clay pot, a clay. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
It will make you a better product. Okay. Think about the comforts of. Okay. I mean, just various things. Okay.
Well, a lot of these guys were non-sedentary. They weren't sedentary,
right?
So
no, that's what I'm saying. They were transient, and they embrace it. Okay, that's fine. But that life is dying. Okay, and they do not comprehend. I mean, dude, they literally ate the horse to extinction.
Right. Yeah. And it was, and you're right, because a lot of people don't realize this, but it was the Europeans introducing the horse.
They didn't even have the bow and arrow.
Right.
They had a wheel as a wheel's toy, but because they didn't have the horse, because they ate it to extinction 5,000 years before this, okay, they didn't have draft animals. They couldn't figure out how to domesticate the buffalo and make that their draft animals.
Well, they didn't.
I'm sorry, this was
didn't need to domesticate. Okay, so let's just go back to what the vice president had to say about Columbus Day, and let me just add one last thing to this. When and I said this, and just reemphasize this, when people use this type of language and use this type of violence, stealing land, spreading diseases, total tribal annihilation or whatever she said, a shameful past. We do teach these things. Just bone. I mean, she would be best just to keep her mouth shut, but we do teach these things in our classroom. They're part of just about every single. They are part. Let me just say this: they are part of every state standard, or every state's standard, social studies standards when teaching early American history. I know this. I lived it. I know what we teach. And we teach all these things. So for her to sit up there and condescend and say that this is our shameful past is only trying to engender some type of hatred for our country. Christopher Columbus did, even though we can say that, you know, the Vikings were here, or, you know, so-and-so was here before. Shut up. History credits Christopher Columbus for discovering the Americas. And bringing this cross-cultural exchange of things and goods. They call it, you know what they called it? They called it the Columbian Exchange, where we were able to bring all of these European, like like a turkey. The turkey is native to the Americas. They never had turkeys in Europe. Now they're all over the place. They didn't have horses, and horses had gone extinct on the American continent. Whether it was because they were eating all of them, or
I don't think they existed before, from what I understand.
Well, there's fossils of them. There's a small one they call Eohippus, I think. But anyway, the fact is that you have this exchange of foods, goods, and diseases, as we mentioned, going between North and South America and the European continent. This changed the world, and it changed the world for the better. Do people die in these processes? Of course they do. In every process, in every change of culture, people die. Large numbers of people die. But was it for the betterment of the American continent? Well, I don't know. When you talk about, you know, slavery, you talk about tribal violence, mass starvation all the time, unstable society, you know, or do you have a stable society? You know, you pick the good and the bad, and and then you make up your mind from there. But I think overall, yes, the North and South American, Central American continents are much better off than what they were 400 years ago. And I'll stand by and I'll argue until my dying breath.
Okay, so
and we're going to leave it at that. Of course, Rad's going to have the final word.
Yeah. Okay. So no, just to address Paul. No, they did have the horse. There are what's called Clovis. Okay, pre-Clovis sites. What that means is there's a certain spirit that was introduced into the Americans. It's called the Clovis spirit. It's basic around 10,000 BC or so, roughly around there. For you young earthers, that would be like yesterday. But that's beside the point. Anyway, point being is this, okay? They have these where they massacred horses, okay? Slaughtered them, okay? Where they drove them into pits, okay, off of cliffs and everything, and they just slaughtered them just to eat them. They did this in herds, okay? But for some reason, they just didn't figure out, hey, we can domesticate these animals. We can make them carry our packs. They just didn't do this, and for some reason, we don't know why.
They had carry their packs.
What's that?
You know what they did have carry their packs?
They're women.
They're women.
That's beside the point. But that's beside the point.
Actually, it was dogs.
Dogs.
That's right.
Well, either way.
They did dogs, and dogs did a lot. Dogs, they weren't for pets. They weren't for, they didn't sit there and play fetch with them. Dogs worked. They would use dogs to guard and pull. What was that? Call of the Wild. If you read, no, that's not Call of the Wild. What was that? There was a movie that I showed to the kids that went White Fang. Is that a movie? White Fang? That sounds.
Yeah.
Where it talks about how an Indian owns White Fang, and he's like, look, you don't sit there and try to pet the dog. Dogs are for work, and this is what Native American cultures use dogs for, is for work. It wasn't for to be a pet.
I also want to say one more thing, okay, on this Columbus thing before we get off it. Do you know why Columbus Day was instituted? I just learned this. I actually listened to Prager University.
Okay, hold on. Let me. 1930.
She mentions it 1928. Since 1928, we honored.
28 or 34.
Well, whatever. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Okay. Well,
Okay, so
after the Great Depression.
okay, no. Here's the thing. Remember, she's all pro-immigrant. You can't say illegal aliens. She's all pro-immigration. So what happened? Okay, during this time, as you all know, we had the mass immigration of Italians. Those dirty Italians.
Oh, yeah.
Shifty eyes. Anyway, they
Columbus.
came to America in floods. Anyway, in New Orleans, okay, during this time, a police officer was murdered in cold blood. Okay, and the Italians were blamed for it. I think 6 or 12 Italian immigrants. Okay, those shifty-eyed, Dago T-shirt wearing. I'm just telling you. You can't trust them.
You can't trust Italians. I've lived there for 4.5 years. You're right.
Anyway, point being is this. You don't know that. Anyway, point being is this. They tried them and they were found. Well, it was somewhere in this trial. Others were found totally not guilty. Right. Well, in New Orleans, the mob back then, lynchings were common. It didn't matter if you were black or white or Italian. He was getting lynched. Anyway, they drag him out of the jail. They shot him in the street, lynched him, strung him up, whatever. They killed 12 of them, okay, of these Italians, okay, for the murder of this police officer. And that prompted a massive shock protest across America. No, this can't do this. Because remember, anti-Italian American, okay, sentiment during this time was really rife, okay, all right? Anyway, so the whole point of Columbus Day was to honor our Italian American immigrants, was to honor Italians, okay? Making Columbus, okay, the hero of Italians, discovery of America. No, it was a whole big deal that they did. Again, I just learned this yesterday on PragerU. But point being is this. She is pro-immigration, pro-immigrant. And now she's attacking a holiday specifically meant to honor and protect and actually change the idea of Italian Americans, okay? She's attacking that now and attacking all of Western European culture at the same time. When she is a white woman pretending, a white woman who's the direct descendant of a Scotsman named Harris, who was the largest slave owner in Jamaica. As a matter of fact, when they criminalized or when they outlawed slavery, Britain paid him the equivalent of $25 million because he had to free slaves. And she is a direct descendant of this man. And she is sitting there telling us, no, I'm sorry for the rant, but she angers me. This woman pretending to be something she's not. Oh, yeah, and she's also Indian too. Well, from the Punjab.
Oh,
yes,
Brad, let's just hope that she
just saying.
Let's just hope
this woman cannot be our president. She's oh, by the way, she also plagiarized her own book, used Wikipedia for vast sections of it. Just saying.
I will.
Got to be low intelligence to plagiarize Wikipedia.
All right, so let's get to today's topic. Oh my goodness, look what time it is. It's almost time to go. Today's topic was Islamic denial. When we talked about, we've actually done entire shows on this before, where we've talked about how Islam teaches its adherents to deny, historical facts. And it's not their fault. I mean, if you actually believe that the Quran is the word of God, in chapter 4, verse 157, what does that verse teach? It teaches that Jesus Christ was not crucified. He did not die on a cross. And we've even had a couple debates last spring here on this show, debating that fact, that historical fact, that Jesus did die on a cross. And this is something that they deny. So we can see right from the very beginning, there is this tendency to deny historical facts. That is a foundational principle of the faith. Because anybody that says that Jesus didn't die on the cross, they are being what we would call ahistorical. They are ignoring the historical facts that support that event. Are there any facts that do not support the crucifixion of Jesus? No, there are not. There are none. What is used in order to justify this position that is found in the Quran is heretical sources, known heretical sources, clearly identified and identifiable sources saying that Jesus didn't die. And there's 3 or 4 that they go to: the Basilides, they go to the Marcionites, they go to the Great Treaty Society. I can't remember what they all are, but there's a couple known historical sources, heretical sources that they go to in order to justify that. What else do they deny? Uh-oh. Had a telephone call there. Sorry. What else do they deny? The Holocaust. Holocaust denial is it's not prevalent. I wouldn't say it's completely
I
prevalent.
just had a memory story this week. Someone was at a college. I can just dig it up. And they were denying a United States college at a Muslim Student Association event, and they were denying the Holocaust. Give me a few seconds. I could probably pull it up. It's just, denial is just crazy. The amount of stupidity that's involved in it.
The Palestinian issue, the leader of the Palestinian Authority, Mahmoud Abbas, he has a PhD, and his doctoral thesis, his thesis was based on Holocaust denial. So, I mean, that's so, I hate to use this word, but that's so apropos. I mean, it's so applicable in today's news, looking at, okay, they deny the Holocaust. One of the chief deniers is the leader of the Palestinian Authority. Did you find that, Paul?
Yeah, I've got it. I can just read the summary if you would like. Memory caught Islamic scholar and radiologist Sheikh
Can you
Dr.
share?
Kia Jahed.
Paul, can you share the screen?
Yeah, I can do that.
Yes, sure.
Pull it up. I was just reading my summary of it. All right. Let's pull this over here. This is just and I just want to grow it before I share it. This guy is really offensive. He's, again, Muslim Student Association, and he is at George Mason University. Start thinking about this guy teaching at a school where your children are. This is the stuff that really disgusts me. Okay, here we go. I'll turn on the sound. Here we go.
Take a guess. 1917 till now, how many Palestinians are displaced? 6 million.
Problem. There's only 700,000 people living in Gaza. A little over 700,000.
Let's go back to the Holocaust. How many Jews were you taught were killed in the Holocaust? 6 million? Okay. By the way, there's a lot of debate about the number. The Holocaust happened. No doubt about that. But maybe not 6 million. Maybe 3 million, maybe 1 million, maybe 600,000. There's all kinds of different numbers that historians talk about. Okay? Israel would have you believe 6 million because it creates the most sympathy for you. But is it, how ironic is it that in 1944 a Holocaust happens? A people go through tremendous suffering. You would think that these people, more than anyone else, would have sympathy and empathy to not allow this happen to anyone ever again. Yet the very people who underwent this trauma turn around and do it 10 times worse on Palestinians, and the world just looks on. Why? Is it because they're white and they're brown? Is it because they look more European and they look more African?
How do people like that ever get a venue at a university? I mean, when things are so easily debunked on what he says, how do people like that get in? I mean, how does that happen?
You have to become a member of the Muslim Brotherhood and have connections to your local Muslim Brotherhood, Muslim Student Association.
But wouldn't you think? Okay, hold on just a second, Rex. If you were part of the MSA, Muslim Student Association, if you're part of the Muslim Student Association, and you brought somebody in that started presenting things that are known to be patently false, easily demonstrably false, clearly false, and you can easily demonstrate them, wouldn't you have some sort of shame or some type of standard in which you would say, look, we can't bring people like you in because you're an idiot, and we can't have you coming in and appearing to our group because you are an idiot? Is there any type of shame that these people have in these institutions, or is this just rampant on college campuses? That was the question.
Okay, so no,
I don't follow it.
Okay, no,
How can you bring them in? I'm sorry, you're asking how you can bring them in?
How do you continually bring somebody in like this? Rad, I'll let you speak.
You'll only bring somebody in like this if you want people to speak on this topic. You get it. You're asked to come in. In general, you're asked to speak on a topic, and that's the sad nature here. They asked him to come in and to denigrate the Holocaust at the very least. They did this. Well, now keep remembering that last year they had Hamas celebrations. Oh, they were celebrating the murdering of Jews again. So let's talk about the genocide of Jews. Oh, does that get them more excited? Yeah. Yeah. They want to denigrate the Jews while they celebrate the killing of Jews. Really.
That makes sense. Yeah. Rad, what were you going to say?
So I was going to say, okay, well, no, Paul's right on that. They were invited in by the Muslim Student Association. Now, how they got away with it is very simply this. It's called institutional capture. It's actually been happening since the 1960s.
Institutional what? What did you call that?
Institutional capture, okay? So what happened beginning in the 1960s, okay, is that these Marxists got in, and dude, you think I'm a conspiracy theorist? I'm not. This is well documented. These Marxists got in, okay, they got these PhDs because as long as they stayed in college, they could get out of join the United States military or the draft, right? Okay, so they got these PhDs, all courtesy of the government, okay, and they were Marxists, and they captured, okay, these higher learning institutions, and they promoted from within. So now, honestly, in these universities, okay, I can show you videos of Michigan State University where the major professors are total full-blown Marxists, and they're talking about how to spread Marxists to the teachers that they're teaching. Okay, so what you have, this is the problem, people, you are not getting. Okay, these jihadi groups, to the Marxists, they're just the oppressed, and they can utilize them as the oppressed against the oppressor, which is evil white man capitalism. Actually, when they say whiteness, they mean capitalism. When they say racism, they mean capitalism. When they say white supremacists, they mean capitalism. All these things are intertwined. In other words, okay, white supremacists is a tool of capitalism used to exploit the brown, black, indigenous people. Okay? That's what it is. Okay? Whiteness, this is how a black man can express his whiteness, because he is a capitalist. Like when they call, Candace Owens is a complete lunatic now, but when they said that Candace Owens was a white girl incognito, they meant because she's a capitalist. Okay? It wasn't really a racial slur. This is what they mean. Okay?
Well, did you see what they did to Tim Scott and Candace Owens this week?
Yeah, that's another one. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Okay, I could use Tim Scott would have been a better example. Okay, all right.
Just so everybody knows, there is a meme that they made that they were denigrating Tim Scott. I can't remember exactly what the topic was, but they're denigrating Tim Scott, and they took a picture of a cover of a book from Uncle Tom's Cabin. And if you know what Uncle Tom's Cabin is about, Uncle Tom, the slur comes up. Uncle Tom.
He's their hero, though.
But it's a hero. This is a guy who is a great example of Jesus. It should never be taken as anything else.
Okay.
Good.
The point is that they associate Uncle Tom with somebody who was black and cooperated with the white man, with the slave owner, and went along. And so instead of calling it Uncle Tom's cabin, they use Uncle Tim's cabin, and they had a picture of Tim Scott superimposed upon Uncle Tom, and they had Candace Owens' face superimposed on his wife. His wife's name was Chloe. In the book, it's sick is what they did to Candace Owens and Tim Scott this week. I'm sorry.
I agree. Well, Candace Owens is a total complete nut job now, but that's beside the point. Anyway, she's told her she's gone out. She sees Jews everywhere. But no, okay. But no, getting back to this institutional capture, they've done this, okay? And there's an interview, okay, that you can, I'll send it to you, where there is an it's verified. He's an ex-KGB officer, where he tells him in the 1980s of exactly what they were doing. It was simple. They said the Soviets, they will infiltrate the higher learning centers. And they did it over years and years and years. So now any what they call diverse group, any group that speaks out against the man, against the system, is welcomed with open arms. And that's how they get away with this. I'll give you an example. Okay. Have you ever heard of Chelsea Bodine?
No.
No? Well, you should have. Chelsea Bodine was the San Francisco left-wing Soros-backed DA in 2020. He was so far left, okay, that they in San Francisco, they recalled him in 2021. That's how far left this dude was, okay? He let murderers out. Let murderers out. Dude, let a murderer out. He then goes out and murders another person and then lets him out again saying, well, he restorative justice. This dude was so far off. Well, who's Chelsea Bodine's mother and father? Chelsea Bodine's mother is an original founder of the Weather Underground. Hold on. Wait. She checked out a book in her own name from the New York Public Library, How to Make Chemical Explosives. Evidently, you could do that back in 1968. In the brownstone that she was, well, her family owned the brownstone. She was sleeping upstairs on the third floor, okay, or she was taking a shower. Either way, one of her friends, either way, there were two women that escaped this bombing. Anyway, the bomb went off and blew up. Two women run out. One of them was naked because they was in the shower. Another one was sleeping. One of them was Chelsea Bodine's mother. Okay, by the way, her family is extremely rich, wealthy. Okay. Well, she and this other woman, they go on the run. Okay. They actually are responsible for bombing the Senate building. They blew up the bathroom of the U.S. Senate offices. Okay, blew up. No one was hurt. They also blew up a bunch of other government buildings. Okay. 1980, I believe, she founds a group called March 13th, I believe.
Oh, boy.
You will know because this is New York, right? Okay, this is in New York. March 13th just happened to be Mao Zedong's birthday. Oh, and her birthday, too. I don't know if it's actual March 13th, but either way. Either way, the same birthday she had was with Mao Zedong, but she named it after this. She gets together with a bunch of Black Panthers. They rent in her name or her baby daddy's name. Now, Chelsea is like in diapers. He's a toddler. He's 18 months old. Okay? All right? They rent a U-Haul truck. And they go and they rob a Brinks armored car. They kill the guard, one of the guards, and they killed one of the guards and seriously wound the other guard. Okay, and they get away with what I think was like $7 million in cash in their U-Haul truck. But thanks to the NYPD and the state police, they shut down the highway and they were able to pull over this U-Haul. Chelsea Bodine's father and mother, okay, get out of the U-Haul because they're driving it. They got their hands up. They're being all peaceful. They're like, no, there's no one in the back of the U-Haul. We're just moving. There's no one in the back. They don't warn the cops. So these cops, they come up and they open the back of the U-Haul and they get mowed down and gunned down by the Black Panthers and with automatic weapons. So we got one Brinks armored car, a guard shot dead, another one wounded, okay, and 3 police officers were shot dead. They got sentenced to prison. The Bodines, okay, got sentenced to prison, okay, for 20-something years. Chelsea's mama, I think her name is Catherine, if I'm not mistaken. Catherine Bodine gets out in 2002, whatever. I think sometimes around. She becomes an adjunct professor at Columbia University. Starts a group at Columbia University called Social Justice. Yay! That same, she's dead now. She died like 2 years ago. That same group that she founded, and she was teaching at Columbia University, teaching the social justice and communism and all this stuff at Columbia University. This is a university that teaches our elites. Do you see what I'm saying? You go to Columbia University, you don't even have to graduate, but you go into corporate America. You go into HR, you go into management, mid-management. You shape the company awareness. But this is what this crap she was teaching. It's a murderer, right? Her group that she founded, Social Justice, something else, you can look it up. But that is the same group now that is funding the protests, the anti-Israeli protests on Columbia University right now. This is what I'm talking about, institutional capture. We've got to gut our university system, get it out, get rid of it. In other words, McCarthy was right, but
They're being funded.
wrong.
They're getting finances from the Muslim Brotherhood.
Yeah, they're getting funded everywhere.
They're getting several finance.
Right.
If they're bragging about it, CARE is bragging about it. That's enough reason there for CARE to be actually tossed out of the country, because they're actually SJP is also behind this. They're actually getting caught. I'm waiting for the case in Florida to go to court. When that goes to court, you'll see the end of the SJP. I'm hoping.
But my point being is, look up Catherine. I think it's Catherine Bodine.
Hold on, Rad.
She's a nightmare.
Rad, hold on. Who did you say SJ Student Justice is? The Students Justice for Palestine. Who are they getting their funds from?
They get their funds from all over the country, but they are the Hamas. They are Hamas in America, just like CARE is. So they actually
Hamas.
They are so connected to Hamas that they actually received promo kits with pictures of paragliders with Hamas people on them, and it's believed they got that material before October 7th.
Whoa.
Yes.
How? Okay. How do you know?
Because they were distributing that stuff on October 7th.
No.
Yes.
Yep. No, they knew about it.
That's a court case right now in Florida.
Yeah. But Paul, my point is they're getting the funding from all over the place. But what I'm saying is one of the organizers is this group at Columbia University that was founded, okay, and stewarded by this murderer, this police officer murderer, this woman who founded, okay.
Yeah, that's well documented. That's not. I'm not denying that. It's well documented.
Okay. And the tactics that they are using, this is organized. Fine, you can have a group like, okay, I'll give you an example. Okay, the Republicans somehow outsourced their ground game to TPUSA, TUPSA, whatever it's called. You guys, Charlie Kirk's group. They paid him $150 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, they're miserable.
I wouldn't say they outsourced it. It's just one of the things that they've been doing. Turning Point's been doing this for years.
Right. Yeah. But they're an utter failure. They're not doing anything. Now the guy that they're also funding is underground in Pennsylvania is the Persistence. Okay. He's not with TPSA, but he's the one who's actually getting the shit done. Getting the crap done in Pennsylvania when it's on the ground and getting people registered. Okay, Charlie Kirk's just showing up at universities and preaching to the choir. Okay, this guy, the Persistence, he's going to hunter shows, gun shows. He's going to county fairs. You know what I mean? He's going to the people. Okay, to get people registered. So I have great faith that Pennsylvania will turn. But point being is this, dude. We cannot overlook the Marxism that is in this, and I'm telling you, that is a greater threat. The spiritual threat is Islam. Don't get me wrong. But the greater threat, okay, to our freedom and our sanity is this Marxist threat. And I'm telling you, the Marxists know they'll just kill the jihadis. They will have no compunction about it. They're just like, yeah, we control the means of your food. You will die.
Well, the Marxists will lose to the jihadis every time because
I
the
don't think
jihadis
so,
have the
you know.
guns and the Marxists will not have them, at least in this country. In another country, maybe, but
Well, say,
you're the,
but
you're
no, well, they're going to
you're
take our
the
guns.
Marxist
No,
sympathizers.
No.
Yeah.
Kamala gets in control. They will take away our guns, and she is a Marxist. By the way, her father, just to let you know, is the professor
The Marxist
of
professor.
Marxist economics at Stanford University. Lovely.
Yeah. Everybody
lovely,
should know
yeah.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry to hijack the show, but sorry for my. Okay, another apology. Sorry for my hardcore rant against the Native American people, but I am just so sick of being told that we are just evil white people, and I am sorry. As an adopted Italian American, I just have to say that this thing about getting rid of Columbus Day and choosing it with, indigenous people, they here.
You know what it is? I'll tell you what it is. It's anti-Italian discrimination.
That's what it is, people. I'm fed up with it. Now, if you're Native American, you're part of a tribe, I don't think you're accountable now. At least I hope you're not. And a slave trader and dirt worshiper, I hope you're not. I hope, the white man has elevated you beyond this point, because I'm sure we have. But we are not the evil white racist people that they pretend us to be. I'm just saying.
All right, let's move to the next segment of the show. That actually what the topic of the show is Islamic denial. We talked about how Islam teaches the denial of the most asserted historical fact from antiquity, which is the death and crucifixion of Jesus Christ on a cross. How there is a huge segment that denies the Holocaust. And I watched a movie. There's a movie out. I don't know if you guys have seen this movie. It's actually called Denial. And it's about a court case of a woman who was slandered or something, where a guy, this is like a cottage industry, Holocaust denialism. And it's furthered by all kinds of people, namely neo-Nazi groups, neo-fascist groups, KKK skinhead types. But it's also, as in that movie, that's what it was. It was, I think the guy was a Hitler apologist or whatever. I can't remember what it was. It's based off a true story. But anyway, now it isn't just Holocaust denial, which is, we got pictures, for Pete's sake, folks. We don't have pictures of people being shoved into gas chambers because the Nazis were smart enough not to film that type of stuff. But we have overwhelming physical proof for it. And it's still denied. But now
I documented the names of the people they got killed as well. It's just insane when you start thinking about it.
It is, and this is, when we have those debates about the crucifixion, it's insane that people, that the one guy that we debated here, the whole premise of his objection to the crucifixion was a mistranslated word, and I can't even remember what he said it was and where it was from, but it was just a mistranslated word and had nothing to do with crucifixion itself. But that was his whole premise of his objection to the crucifixion. But anyway, here's what guess what we're facing now, right here. Here it is. 40% of U.S. Muslims deny October 7th atrocity. Survey finds 40 folks, 39%, right here. 39% believe that Hamas did not engage in acts of murder and rape during the October 7th attack on Israel. I don't know what I mean.
Wait, read that again. Or read that one more time. How many didn't participate?
39% of U.S. Muslims, this is Muslims in the United States, believe that Hamas did not engage in acts of murder and rape. Oh, here we go. And rape during the October 7th attack on Israel. Only 31% acknowledge that Hamas terrorists did commit such acts. So you have 39%, almost 40%, 4 out of 10, saying that Hamas didn't do this. And then you only have...
Do we know if they're telling the truth when they're saying this? Do we know if they're practicing dawah?
Say that again, Paul?
Do we know if they're practicing dawah? I mean, to lie to us for the purpose of furthering Islam?
I don't know what they're doing here. But when you have less than a third will acknowledge that Hamas did commit these attacks. So you have 40% denying that they did, according to the survey. But the other takeaway is, I mean, that's a huge number. That is a gigantuous number, especially when you break it down into some type of group of people. And whether it's an ethnic, cultural, religious group, when you break it down, where you say 40% of the people that belong to this group, according to this survey, 40% of people that belong to this group will deny an event that we have pictures of, that's on the TV. We have pictures. We did a whole show on this where they were interviewing these people from these Hamas holes. They're sitting there interviewing them, and they're saying, "Did you rape this woman?" Yeah. Did you?
Can I call your attention to Conociendo in YouTube chat? A state that is controlled by the guerrilla soldiers, and they put a very big Palestinian flag in a main road. They're supporting Hamas. That is so sad.
Go to the main road. Well, drive over it.
I like that.
But they probably can't.
It's Colombia. They might kill you.
Yeah, that just might happen. Yeah, that's sad.
I like the answer. I like your answer though. Drive over it.
Drive over it. Either that or never mind. I'd say relieve yourself, but no, that'd just be over the top. Anyway, but when we think of it as a group of people denying something that is so easily demonstrated to be true, that is scary stuff. That is, we've talked at length, ad nauseum on this show, of why people think that Muhammad is a prophet, despite all of these shortcomings that we've talked about. You know, the ordering of murders of people, the thievery, the raping, the misogyny, the pedophilia, all of these things. Yet they will continue to believe that Muhammad was a prophet, all the while shutting these other things out. When we start thinking about shutting these other things out, what are we talking about? They're shutting these things out.
She was 9 years old. She was 9 years old.
Yes, they shut that out, and they will believe this. And now, when you provide them with videos of the shootings, videos of the rapings, videos of men confessing to these things, you still have 40% say they didn't commit these things, and then you only have 1/3. It's right here. Look at the number, folks. Less than a third. While 31% acknowledge that Hamas terrorists did commit such acts.
Well, you know what they need to do? They need to show that video that they showed at Cornell this past week. They showed a video. What's the name of it? Just look it up real quick. And
there was one that was called Screams of Silence.
Within our lifetime. And they had Screams Before Silence. Screams Before Silence. But interviewed, it was shown by Sheryl Sandberg, and she was actually there. I think she should go to that state and show that and see if any mosque would allow her to show it. Or how about public libraries?
Is that the 70-something minute video that came out like months ago or like last year?
It is let me just double check the timing. I think it was like a 60 minute. It's a 60-minute documentary.
Yeah. Okay,
She
well,
interviews
either way,
eyewitnesses, released hostages, first responders, medical and forensic experts, and survivors of the Hamas terror attack about the women and girls who were raped, assaulted, and mutilated.
there was a video that was shown like in November after the attacks, but it was only showed to select groups of people. And I'm sorry, that should have been all over the internet. That should have been made live, made public. It was okay, but they didn't do that, and I think that was horrible propaganda on the part of the Israelis. I mean, no, you had to be a diplomat. You had to have, you had to be one of the elites to view the video. And I just think, honestly, that was a mistake. And they failed on that. But I think we got a Muslim in the room. Well, maybe. I don't know what this means. Islam.
No.
She's the translator, apparently, to Spanish. I just learned that.
He's translated the show into English for us.
Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry. Didn't mean to accuse you of being a Muslim. Sorry.
Let's see, put this back. Yeah, this I've watched this movie before. It just,
I don't think I can watch it.
It's hard. It's hard to watch things like that, knowing that number one, the people that appear in the film, what they've gone through. I mean, just the trauma itself. It's so unsettling. But how recent it is. And to think that these pieces of garbage, I mean, I don't know how else you would refer to it. 4 out of 10. Whoops, wrong button. 4 out of 10. Let me put it back up here. 4 out of 10 Muslims, U.S. Muslims. These are supposed to be people who have access. We're not talking about Muslims that don't have cell phones or live, in Zimbabwe or where, whatever. We're talking about people who have access to all of this information and yet still deny that these atrocities occur. And then less than a third, and this is what is also shocking, admit or will acknowledge that Hamas did these things. So you're talking about two-thirds. This is crazy. 2/3 of this specific religious group will not acknowledge what Hamas did on October 7th, 2023. 2/3 when you look at it, when you break down it in the aggregate there, will not acknowledge that Hamas did these things to Israelis on October 7th last year. That's what.
Why wouldn't they acknowledge it? This is a great victory for Islam.
It's what?
You see what I'm saying? Why wouldn't they acknowledge it? It's a great victory for Islam. They celebrated it. It's a beautiful thing.
It's such a great victory that they've been destroyed. They've been utterly destroyed. Allah is so big that Israel has stomped on it over and over and over again since October 7th.
Yeah, there's nothing left of the Hamas holes, to be honest with you. When you start looking about, they just have 1 battalion, I think, left out of the 24 that they started with. And even that's going to be, unconstituted. They're not going to be supplied. They haven't been able to get supplies in there. Their organization is probably crap. I would suffice to say that many of them are either not participating in any type of resistance whatsoever, or they are passively just ignoring any type of orders that are coming this way or their way. And then in conjunction with that, you have Hezbollah up in Lebanon. I mean, they're afraid to plug in their flipping toasters, for crying out loud.
The great cell phone, or pager, the pager attack.
I love the pager one.
That's like epic. It does not get any better than that when you start talking about, okay, these people, their sole purpose, and a lot of people will kind of look, they'll send me emails and say, what are you talking about? I mean, do you take pride in people dying like that?
They didn't die like that. Most of them didn't die. They got their shorts burned. They got their legs burned, a little, blowed up here and there. I'm sorry You're the one who put it in your pocket. It's now burned into your skin that you desire to work for Hezbollah, and now everybody knows it.
They
Right.
got free castrations. I'm
Have
just
you guys,
saying. Which
have
is
you
a
guys
beautiful
seen that
thing.
movie?
If you put that thing down in your junk, that's your problem.
Yeah.
Have
No,
you
those
seen
wounds I've seen those wounds. They were pretty nasty. But either way, that's brilliant. But it wasn't just a cell phone. It was car stereos, TV sets. I mean, dude.
it was everything. Have you guys ever seen
TV radios?
the Inglorious Bastards? Have you ever seen that movie?
Oh, great movie.
Oh,
Great
a
movie.
number of years ago, yes.
Over the top, but great movie. Great movie.
And one thing that he would do to the Nazis that he would capture is he would carve a swastika into their forehead. Because he'd ask him, okay, what are you going to do after the war? Are you going to go home and take that uniform off, or are you going to wear it proudly? And, oh, no, we're going to take it off. And he goes, that's right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you something that you can't take off. And so all of these guys that are in Lebanon for the rest of their lives are going to be walking around without any fingers on their hands,
Without any junk.
without any junk in their trunk,
No more Muslim babies.
all over their face. For these people are going to know, hey, you were part of Hezbollah. Why? Because you don't have any fingers. You don't have any more junk. You got scars all over your face because you were looking at your pager when it went Allah Akbar and they blew it up in your face. So it doesn't get any better than that.
See what happens when your pager announces 72 virgins?
When you talk about an act that terrorizes the terrorists, that's what you call poetic justice. And then the second thing is you decapitate the most powerful terrorist on the planet, Nasrallah. You take him out, then you take his replacement out, and then you take the replacement of the replacement out in succession. That is, that is world-class psychological warfare. Whether it's just military impact, but the psychological impact on these people has got to be greatly diminished. And it's brilliant the way that they did that, and now decide to go in and clean up. And they just found a house that had like 50 missiles sitting in the living room, for crying out loud. It was, and they didn't do it. Anyway. Okay.
This is a 20-year intelligence operation that they're wrapping up. Israel is so dialed in. Hezbollah's gone, dude. Hamas is gone. They're totally destroyed.
I like their statement to Jordan. Hey, look at Jordan and Lebanon. It's up to you. Take care of business, clean things up, or we'll do it for you.
Yeah, and
that's the thing.
Would hope that the Lebanese people would do is they would rise up, have their government finally have the ability and also the confidence to go in and clean this up, because this is going to be nothing more than a continuous, just like Hezbollah wants, a continuous aggression or aggravation on their southern border with Israel, which it doesn't have to be that way. And now is the opportunity for them, the government, whether it's legitimate or not, to go in and establish that.
Well, here's the thing: if you follow online on the X space or Twitter space, there is an ongoing Dawa wars. Okay, no, they're coming to blows, especially with this Daniel Hikachu. Daniel Hikachu is of the camp that you must support the Shia demons, okay, the Hezbollah Shaitans, okay, because they hate Israel. Well, all the other Sunni Muslims are celebrating the death of the Hezbollah Shaitan. No, they really are. They are celebrating what Israel did by taking out Hezbollah. Openly celebrating it, because they're Shia Shaitans, okay? And they hate them worse than they hate the Jews, okay? So you have two groups now, okay? One is celebrating the death of Hezbollah and their leaders because they're Sunni. They're like, oh God, you're going to the Shaitan, you're going to the hellfire. And you have another group that are Shia that are celebrating the Hezbollah Shaitans dying because they're getting their virgins, yes. But either way, there's this serious, right now, fitna, this serious Dawa wars between these Islamic apologists that are happening right now, including Mojab, okay, Muhammad Hijab, Daniel Hakachu, the one dude, the Texas guy, I don't know, a Muslim cowboy or whatever, and various other Muslim apologists. They're at each other's throats right now. And I guarantee you, it's probably going to come to blows. They're going to be fighting soon. And that will be glorious. Anyway, that's all. I do want to play.
Soon. These apologists or these groups, these Islamic groups.
These apologists, oh, they're doxing each other, dude. They are doxing each other now. Okay? You follow this? No, dude, check out Jay Apologetics. He documents this stuff. I also give him about the stuff, feed it to him. Okay? That I see when it pops up because he's blocked by all of them. I'm not yet. But no, they are seriously, dude. They're doxing each other. They're coming. They are fearing each other. Okay.
They're doxing each other. Is that what you said?
Doxing each other. Yes. These were all friends just like 6 months ago. These were all one big jihadi party friends, kill the Jews. But then as soon as Hezbollah started dying, well, then things changed. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Remember? Okay. Let me hold on. Remember this adage. Let me see here. No. Where do they go? Where does it go? Right here.
Who is Hamas really? How do we really know who Hamas is?
There we go. Hi, Connie. How are you? Good to see you.
God bless you all. Thank you, sir.
Oh, hold on. Let's.
Lady, go sit your behind down in the corner somewhere until we call you.
I love it, and he still hasn't stopped me yet.
Yeah, I just noticed that sitting right above that one right here.
And may I say it, Eric?
Go ahead. Yeah, good.
Okay. In sincerity, Islam is murder. Thank you.
Yeah, there you go. Here, this
Hamas,
is it.
really. How do we really know who Hamas?
I remember when we were talking, and this is what I find so timely about that comment. That comment was taken from a live stream that he had done with our friend Isa, not 3 weeks before October 7th last year. It was the timing of it was really crazy. When he is sitting, he dedicates and he did that show because we had done a show on what Hamas was. And he did that in order to try to refute what was said here. And then he's like, well, who is Hamas? They're just like a political organization, kind of like the Democratic Party or the Republic, No, dude, they're a bunch of terrorists that whack each other. And when they're done whacking each other and asserted their control, then they go out and start whacking other people. That's exactly what they are. And it was sick is what it was to sit there and have to deal with that. Okay. There's a couple other things that I wanted to address before we cut out of here tonight. This article right here. Let me bring this back up here. I got to present. Stop screen share. Whoops. Screen share. I had the wrong thing up there. Here we go. I don't know if you guys have seen this. Have you guys seen this guy?
Hello.
Who's seen this? This Afghan was charged in an election day terrorist plot. Okay, so here you have one of those refugees that came back in those plane loads where they were bringing in thousands of them into Western countries. And this one they brought in, and evidently he did not tell the truth when they were vetting him, that he did not.
Wow.
I know we're all shocked, but Rad and I had some experience with these people. Rad and I went to a shooting range. Was that 2 years ago? It had to be 3 years ago. It was right after this. Rad, when was this? Is Rad there? Or is he cooking his ribs?
He's probably cooking those ribs.
He's cooking those ribs. But we went to a shooting range up in Indiana.
No, I'm there. Go ahead.
Yeah, remember we went to that shooting range up in Indiana a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And it was near an army base. And on that army base is where they were housing a lot of these Afghan refugees. And we could see from
and they were hiring just to cook for like $30 an hour.
Yeah, well, we could see the buildings and the kids outside of the buildings from the range. It wasn't like they were close where we could shoot. They would be within, they would get in the way of gunfire or anything. But you could actually see them. It was maybe less than a mile, maybe a half mile at most. But out of this hot mess, look what they caught. They caught this guy. He's wanting to. What did he want to do?
He tried to coordinate bringing AK-47s. He started to collect AK-47s together, and he was supposed to start an attack on Election Day.
Yeah, there's a mass shooting he was going to have, or he's going to assert on Election Day, and he was going to do it for who? The Islamic.
ISIS.
Yeah. Okay. Hope to relocate most of his family, including his wife, back to Afghanistan to live according to pure Islam. So he's in the process of shipping the wife and the child back to Afghanistan so he could be here in Kafiristan to shoot up our election. Way to go. People like that ought to be, I don't know, shot themselves. Who knows? They'll probably just put him in a Supermax for the rest of his life. Who knows?
I want to play a quick video real quick. I finally found it talking about the sure. Talking about the Dawa Wars. This is you're gonna love this. Hold on. But actually pull it up.
Who did we lose? Did we lose Connie?
Well, we had Connie. She was here doubled.
She bounced out doubled, yeah.
She does a lot of that through her phone, and I think she has. Excuse me. I think she has a lot of phone problems. No, here we go.
So this is a famous Muslim apologist. I don't know. You might not.
What's this rated, Brad? What is this rated?
This is rated well.
Well, the reason why I'm looking off to the right there, and you have Matt Walsh, who's something you woke idiots. I don't know if that.
No, we're good. We're good.
All right.
We're good. I'm not going to play the. Well, I'm going to edit it. The Tommy Robinson response to Muhammad Hijab's threat to sue him for calling him a pedophile. If you haven't seen it, I shared it with you, Eric. It's totally funny. But Tommy Robinson's Tommy Robinson. He's going to go Elon Musk himself over and over again. It's kind of cool. But anyway, let's play this. I'm going to play about 2 minutes of it. Listen to this.
I ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to guide him. I feel really sorry for the people that have been
Open it all the way.
You see how much excuses he's willing to fetch. He's willing to go out of his way to fetch for excuses and to sympathize with those who curse Aisha radiallahu anha and curse Abu Bakr and Umar and have killed the Sunnis. But we don't get even 1% of that courtesy. Sunni Muslims. I didn't curse my mother Aisha. I didn't curse Abu Bakr and Umar. I've never killed a Muslim, never laid hand on a Muslim, never hurt a Muslim in my life, no matter what denomination they are. I and Faris and other du'at, wallahi, we don't even get a 1% courtesy of the courtesy and the excuses that he finds for the enemies of Allah. We are the agents, the madkhali, bootlickers, idiots, Zionists who are working against Islam and for the establishment of the idea. Yani absolutely ludicrous. How can someone be in his right mind? That shows you the level of hypocrisy and lies and wickedness. If he really wants to be consistent, because he's always talking about being consistent. If you want to be consistent with us. All right, we don't see eye to eye. Hey, find a justification, find an excuse for us. No, a'udhu billah. We are the enemies of Islam. And the Shia, Ayatullahs, the takfir. And if this is kufr, then this is kufr. And if this is a kafir, then this is a kafir. Now those Adi, his knowledge of Aqidah is less than my 5-year-old child. I believe, Wallahu Alam, my son Mustafa has a better Aqidah and knows Aqidah more than Daniel. Dude has no idea what he's saying. He said, if you're going to do takfir on the Shia for believing that the Ayatollah, for believing that the Imams control the atoms and no atom in this world moves except, but under their command and control, then therefore also a lot of Sunni Muslims are also no longer, they also have to pass takfir on them. Have you ever seen a Sunni Muslim who believes that the Prophet ﷺ controls the universe? Have we ever called a person who believes the kufr shirk bil rububiyyah, not just shirk in asma and sifat, not just shirk in uluhiyyah, this is shirk in rububiyyah. Have you ever seen a Sunni Muslim call another person who believes that the Prophet ﷺ controls this universe?
He's basically takfiring Daniel
with Allah or instead of Allah?
Fund him.
Have you ever seen us call him a Sunni Muslim? To him, these are Sunni Muslims. And if these are Sunni Muslims, then the 12ites, Ja'farites, Rafida are also Muslims.
They hate Shia.
If you say these Sunni Muslims are not Muslims, or if you say, that those Shia are no longer Muslims, then you also have to say that those Sunni Muslims are not Muslims. None of them were Muslims in the first place. Who doesn't understand this stuff, man? Little kids understand this stuff. Allah understand, man.
So basically,
okay, back that up. 15 seconds. Back that up.
He's willing to put. He's basically put a death warrant out on Daniel Pikachu.
Further. Back it up right here. Back it up. Right there. Okay, stop. Okay. Go ahead, Paul.
He's basically put a death warrant out on Daniel Pikachu.
Yep, he's not the only one.
Yes.
Now, mind you, this dude is in Saudi Arabia. They're all ex-rappers for some reason. It's from Britain. They're all ex-rappers. But anyway, he became converted to Islam, went to Saudi Arabia, studied at the Medina School of Islamic Theology. He's not the only one, okay? All right? He's got 75,000 followers as of right now. Over let's see, how many was it? No, I'm sorry. He has 75,000 followers and 13,000 people. Muslims have seen this. Look at the comments. We can go over the comments themselves. I'm not going to expand it. But no, they're all like agreeing with this dude. He just takfired Daniel Pikachu. It's not just him. It's this other dude, Sanjid. But no, this guy actually was a supporter, a sponsor of Daniel Pikachu. Okay, just like a few months ago. And they're in a battle royale. But anyway, you wanted me to play this again?
No. Just leave it there. I just want to call it. This is what I don't understand. Why? Maybe this is just being shallow. Maybe I'm being shallow, and I shouldn't say it, but I'm going to say it. Okay, look at the way this guy is dressed. I mean, who wears that in public?
I was thinking that too.
I mean, come on.
He's always in.
And then look at his watch. His watch is like 6 times too big for his arm. His haircut is just, and then the glasses. I mean, you can do a lot better than what he's doing here. I mean,
he's a Samsung exec. You see the sign that says Samsung? He's actually a Samsung exec in Saudi Arabia, or Abu Dhabi, wherever he's at. I think he's in Saudi Arabia.
So he's not an American. He's not from America.
No, he's British. He was a British rapper, converted to Islam, went to the masjid in Al Medina, blah blah blah, whatever. Learned Arabic. No, he's a seriously Islamic scholar, but he's also a executive for Samsung in Saudi Arabia, or Abu Dhabi.
Lives in Saudi Arabia.
What's it?
He lives.
He lives in the Middle East. Yeah, he lives in the Middle East. Yeah.
So this is acceptable attire.
Yeah. No, he's kicking back in his. No, we got all kinds of videos of him in the tracksuit. They love the tracksuits. Okay, they love.
I know. It's just I don't know. It's just so 70-ish type.
Yes, it is.
Type look that it just kind of go. I don't. And then anyway, yeah. And remember, this happens all the time, though. I mean, we look at who was that guy? We had him on here, Nadir Ahmed. him and another guy got into it, another Muslim guy, where they were actually, I mean, they were cussing each other out, saying that I'm going to kill you, blankety blank, you know, on live streams. They were doing this. So to see this guy,
Wow.
you know, go after,
Oh, dude, wait.
and
You
know, we do that to Hikachu because the guy's a perv. I mean, anybody that believes the things that that man does deserves any criticism in my book. But I mean, come on, we can do better on the sources for criticism of Hikachu.
I used Pikachu today to talk about slavery in Islam. That's
actually, I'm still not above, you know, saying that Daniel Pikachu is actually a CIA asset to make Islam look bad because he's telling the truth about Islam and it's just making it look bad. I'm just saying. But either way, okay, I like Daniel because he's honest. He's honest with the sources. He's honest with his hatred for America. He's honest, and I said, Daniel has a case, okay, because he quotes Islamic sources where it says you can unite with the kuffar to defeat the common enemy, the Jews, okay, all right. But these Sunnis, they hate the Shia so much, they actually hate the Shia more than they hate the Jews, which is strange, okay. But whatever, no, they really do. No, there's videos of this dude talking about where he landed in Lebanon airport to meet his now wife's family, and he corrected these Shias on the way they were praying because they were wearing leather socks, and they walked over. They wiped the cloth over their leather socks, and he comes and said, "No, brother, you cannot do that. This is haram, huh?" And they wanted to kill him. They chased him out of the airport, and he jumped in his now wife, his now mother-in-law's car. They said, "What are you doing? You can't do that." You know what I mean? No, these dudes are hardcore. Okay, they actually believe this crap. Okay, and they will die for this crap, and they will kill for this crap. Well, they won't. They will have other people do it, and they will say, "I am above this from Allah. I swear by identity. I did not mean this. I did not want bloodshed." You know what I mean? But either way. Okay. Look, seriously, the Sunni Shia split is something that needs to be exploited because it is very exploitable. I am just saying.
Okay, I got a couple things I want to play before we go. Go ahead.
Yeah, you know, in Syria, there's so much fighting with the Shia against the Sunnis. It's really, really bad in Syria right now.
Well, Syria has been in the midst of a civil war for a decade now, and a lot of the Shia are losing. And here's what's crazy, is that, hold on, let me see. Yeah, the Shia are losing influence because Iran. Well, actually, they've gained a lot of influence in the last couple of years, but they're going to be losing now because Iran is getting ready to have the roof fall in on top of them, if you know what I mean. Yeah. After shooting 181 ballistic missiles at Israel, you know, Israel is going to respond to that, and any type of oil production. I think I don't know for sure. I'm not an expert at this, but I would think you're either going to hit oil production and or nuclear facilities at a minimum. You're going to take that out. That way you can take away their revenue. And then if you take away their revenue, it takes away their ability to influence groups or pay for the groups like Hezbollah, which is Shia, or Hamas, which is Sunni, but Hamas takes their money anyway. You're going to lose that influence. And then Syria, as you mentioned, would be able to, you know, be ruled on their own. Maybe Assad will get some, you know, get some of that authority back and be able to rule there. I wanted to play this this quick video here. It's 30 seconds, but this gives you a taste of what we had. What was his name? Not Protestant Believer. That's Ed, Patriotic Christian, on a couple weeks ago from the UK, and this clip right here is from the UK itself. I think it has subtitles. Here we go. Wait, let me take off. There we go. All right, here we go. Here we go. Oh, of course. Now I got the Wheel of Death. Are you kidding me?
Hit refresh.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Enter, refresh.
This is our country now. You hear me, Captain? You can't disturb us. There is nothing you can do about it.
Such a religion of peace. Look at that.
Yeah.
Such a religion of peace.
That is the UK today. This is what happens when you have unvetted immigration, unassimilated immigration. And we're not, we can sit there and say, oh, that's the UK. They did it to themselves. We're not far behind. If this continues.
All right. They don't vet them. They just let them come in from the south.
And why don't they vet them? Why do they let them do that? Because they're afraid of being labeled as racist.
I think they're afraid of being labeled as intelligent.
I agree to that. I mean, these name callings doesn't cut it anymore at all.
That's the worst thing that you could do to a British lad today is call him a racist. I mean, and this is what the patriotic Christian was emphasizing a couple of weeks ago. This is how they tried to shut down any type of opposition or any type of not denigration, but any type of what's the word I'm looking for? Any type.
One of my friends was actually arrested in Toronto last. Yeah, my friends Eric Brazeau was actually arrested this past week in Toronto for standing in a public park and videoing the Muslim opposition that were having a party on October 7th. He just sat there videoing it, and the police came to arrest him for standing in a public park.
Coming to a theater near you.
That's Toronto, Ontario, Canada, right across the pond from me.
Okay, we're going to call it a day, even though we got.
Oh no, we got 11 more minutes.
Well, you got.
Come on, I'm here now.
11. I got
more
1
minutes.
I was just looking at the timer, how long we've been on. Does it say how long we've been on?
Yes, an hour and 49 minutes. So we've got 11 minutes.
Technically, that's 10 minutes and 35 seconds.
Can I make one point? The Muslims say they're all united, but yet they're saying, well, the Sunni, they're not real Muslims, or the Shia, they're not real Muslims. So I'm wondering which one is.
Yeah, and that's well, they'll kill you if you're not on the right side. It's so it's not just sad, but it's just sick in a way.
The only thing they don't agree on is you know what it comes down to. It's really funny. The only thing they don't agree on is leadership, right? So here's the truth. We actually pretty much know today through the evidence that Islam didn't start till after the four caliphs were imagined. So you think about that. So they really have no reason to not like each other because that's all imaginary, that difference.
Yeah, the four caliphs, when we talk about the four caliphs, I've said this before, you can't find them anywhere in history, recorded human history, outside of Islamic literature. So when we start talking about the three of the first four were killed by other Muslims? Am I right on this?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's.
I think they all four were actually, but
no. I think.
Uthman actually.
Who was the first one? Abu Bakr. I think he wasn't killed. He got sick.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
He died of pneumonia or something like that. But the other three were killed. Omar, Uthman. Ali, all
Well, you're
killed.
not allowed to talk about Uthman. If you're Muslim, you're not allowed to talk about how Uthman died.
Red.
How did he die? How did he die, Paul?
Go ask a Muslim and dare him to tell you.
If I knew, I would say it. If I knew, I would say it.
Brad can tell you. There was some type of disagreement
between Ali and him. He got all the Muslims upset. So
okay, Brad, let's look. Brad, in 30 seconds or less, tell us how Uthman died.
Uthman died because he consolidated the Quran and burned all the other Qurans, and the Muslims were very mad at him. And three Muslim armies rode out from Egypt, Syria, and Iraq, basically, and they murdered him.
You have 6 seconds left.
Well, yeah, after, okay, hold on. After, they had sent Aisha and all the other Muslims to go on Hajj when they didn't have to go on Hajj. Okay? So, in other words, the townspeople of Medina said, yeah, we're going to kill this dude. We don't want to be nowhere near this.
Didn't they bury him in a Jewish cemetery or something like that?
Yes, they did. They converted him to Judaism. He became a kafir, and they converted him to Judaism.
I knew there was
him in a Jewish cemetery. And then 13 years later, after his nephew, I think, whatever, Mutawalia, conquered Mecca or Medina.
Okay, I got a video to show, and then we're going to be able to go.
Well, hold on. They knocked down the retaining wall, and therefore they converted all the Jews to Islam. So, yeah, the whole cemetery now is a Muslim cemetery. So all the Jews there.
Okay, a video. Got a video. All right, here's a video from days gone by. We've seen this before, I'm sure. Can you guys hear that?
Yes, sir.
Can we have the camera? Can we have this camera focusing on all the audience, sir? Can we have this camera focusing on all the audience? Because every now and then, every time we have a conference, every time we invite a speaker, they always can come with the same accusations. This speaker supports death penalty for homosexuals. This speaker supports death penalty for this crime or that. He is homophobic. They subjugate women, etc., etc., etc. It's the same old stuff coming all the time. And we always try to tell them, I always try to tell them that, look, it's not that speaker that we're inviting who has these extreme radical views, as you say. These are general views that every Muslim actually has. Every Muslim believes in these things. Just because they're not telling you about it, or just because they're not out there in the media, doesn't mean they don't believe in them. So I will ask you, everyone in the room, how many of you are normal Muslims? You're not extremists, you're not radical, just normal Sunni Muslims. Please raise your hands. Everybody, mashallah, subhanallah. Okay, take down your hands again. How many of you agree that men and women should sit separate? Please raise your hands. Everyone agree. Everyone agree. Brothers and sisters.
White guy here.
SubhanAllah. So it's not just these radical sheikhs then. Allahu Akbar. Next question. How many of you agree that the punishments described in the Quran and the Sunnah, whether it is death, whether it is stoning for adultery, whatever it is, if it is from Allah and...
Okay, watch this guy right here. This guy hasn't raised his hand the entire time. I think he's a plant.
Right.
His messenger, that is the best punishment ever possible for humankind. And that is what we should apply in the world. Who agrees with that? Allahu Akbar. Are you all radical extremists?
Can you go back and can you go back like 10 seconds?
Be that guy.
Yeah.
Be that
Thank
guy.
you, sir.
Yeah, he doesn't raise his hand in any of this. Yeah, I think he kind of raises his hand.
In the world. Who agrees with that? Allahu Akbar. Are you all radical extremists? Subhanallah. So all of you are saying that you are common Muslims. You all go to the different masajid Norway, or are you like a specific sect, like the Islam net sect or anything like that? Are you like that? No. Are you like that? Please raise your hand if you like this extreme Islam net sect or anything like that. No one. Allahu Akbar.
Okay, so the point that I was trying to make with this is that when we start saying certain political figures say you can't say radical Islam, they don't consider themselves radical if they are following the fundamental.
They're lying.
Well,
Islam is radical.
No, mainline normal Islam, as he's describing, is extreme. That's the point. You're separating men and women. You say you can't sit together during a church service? Really? Oops, sorry, didn't mean to do that. Screw you, people. You're going to tell me that the stoning of a woman for adultery is not radical? No. So the point is, I'm sorry, that when we discuss Islam on this show every single week, what they consider normal, most everyday normal people would consider radical. So we can say radical all day long and in order to emphasize some of these radical moderate positions that they have. Okay.
Real quick, just respond to that one dude. He's not a plant. That looks like he was either an invited guest or a prospective convert. He's like, I want to get out of here. Because if he was a plant, in other words, if he was an asset, he would have been raising his hand.
How would you like to be that guy if you were invited and you're sitting in the front
that guy?
row, and yeah, you're that guy, and they're saying, do you think it's okay to stone women for adultery?
Well, that's that picture of at the Nazi salute where there's this one guy. He's like, I ain't doing it. In other words, be that guy. You know what I mean?
Wood posted that picture on Facebook and he got banned for it.
What's that?
That guy not doing a Nazi salute?
Huh?
He posted that picture on Facebook and got banned for posting that picture.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's one of the things that he got banned for. He was just like, I've had it with Facebook. That's why he never really did. Never did really make Facebook. Okay, we're going to call it a night. I have 1 minute and 3 seconds left, and that should be enough for a cold close. Do you guys have anything that you would like to add, Miss Darcy or Connie or Rad, before we go?
No, thanks for watching. God bless.
All right. Thank you for coming, Miss Darcy, and being patient with me. I know we were a little late today. Oh, keep in mind, starting next week, start time for the Cross the Crescent discussion group will be 17:30 hours. That is 5:30 Central Standard Time, 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. God bless you, and we'll see you then.
Hey, wait.
Student and special.
Rad, do you want to say anything? And I'll say something after you, Rad.
Okay, well, just really quickly, again, to those Native Americans, either affiliated with the tribe or just claim to be 1/8 of a 16th of a third Native American. Okay, again, if I was insulting to you by calling your ancestors cannibals, slavers, human sacrificing, barbaric, Stone Age people, I'm not saying you are that, because my ancestry, Eric's ancestry, was part of that. We're all part of that. Okay. I'm just saying, yeah. No, you do not do anti-American stuff by denouncing Columbus Day. That's all I'm saying, because that's anti-Italian American, and I will not stand for it, even though I'm not Italian American. But that's just me. Makes sense. I hope it does.
I would choose the cow.
Okay, Connie.
Yes, please, dear people, leave Islam. It claims that it validates the Bible. So go back to the Bible and you'll see that Islam has lied to you, deceived you. So leave Islam and come to Christ for the salvation that Christ, who is God, spoke of, and he rose himself from the dead. Hallelujah. Thank you. Come to Christ. Thank you.
She was 9 years old.
There you go. Okay, that's number one reason. Sick pervert pedophile. All right. God bless y'all. We'll see you next week on the Cross and the Crescent.
Advanced student and specialist, that the standard narrative has holes. That's what
That the Muslims were rioting against one another. And as much as we don't want to face the fact, the Muslims were lying sometimes. They were fabricating, they were embellishing, and that might be hard to accept, but that is a reality.